This is a quick video on our marketing plan worksheet for cleaning services. And this can apply to commercial cleaning services, janitorial, commercial carpet and tile. And what our goal is with a marketing plan worksheet is to get our boat all rowing in the same direction. That's the goal. A lot of times what happens is throughout our business over the years is we pick up a tactic here, we pick up another tactic there, but we don't keep it all coordinated and all working together. And that is what the goal of a marketing plan is for a cleaning service is we want to get all these little things all working together and working off of each other. It's a team sport. That's an easy way to think of it. Is we don't want all these mercenaries, these 12 or 13 different mercenaries. We want to create a team and everybody's thinking the same way and has the same goal. So to process through some of the questions, the first one is our summary or our description. And I know that this may seem counterintuitive at first, but when you're putting together a plan, first you want to ask all the questions, then you summarize all the answers to those questions and come up with one cohesive summary. So that's why we do this last. So the first question is, what is our goal? Define our long-term vision. See, if your answer is 100,000 or 500,000 or a million, a lot of questions later on down the road about what platforms to invest in, how much money to spend on marketing, if you should hire a salesperson, all those types of questions are all related to right here. What is our goal? If I only want 100,000 a year in sales, then I probably only need to do two or three tactics and uh, maybe spend $1,000 a month or something like that and do a lot of guerrilla marketing with my own time. But if I want 500, a million, then I need to be thinking much, much bigger. So that's the reason why we want to define this up front. What's the plan here? What's the goal here? Are we talking 5 million or 100,000? Because a lot of other answers to questions revolve off of that. So the second one is values. What do we believe in? What do we want to share with the world and share with even our employees? So let's say it's family owned, for argument's sake. Well, those are a lot of the words that we would want to use when we're marketing to clients, but also it's policies that we would want to create for employees. And that might be through paid time off, health insurance. You don't want to just say we're family owned or we're family friendly. You want to live it. Your value is something that you're all about. So you don't want to just say it. In order for other people to believe in it, you have to own it. So that's the whole purpose. This everything plays off of this. So once you go running ads on Facebook or AdWords, we would want to continue this whole theme of family owned or family friendly, all those types of words. So that's why we want to do this. The third one is customer profile. If we're in commercial, what are some key accounts or industries? Do we want medical? Do we want restaurants? Do we want offices, professional offices? Because that can change what platforms to use or how to reach people. So that's why we're deciding 3 or 4 industries that we want to target. And it can also be sizes. Maybe you want to go after small accounts. Maybe you want big ones, a mix. That these are all decisions that will affect other decisions. And customer behavior, that's what are the managers like? Well, based off of up here of medical, you're talking about a lot of practice managers, office managers. Medical in general is going to have a lot of women involved in that whole industry, so you're going to be dealing with a lot of women. So you want to, think about that throughout, um, your marketing plan later on of how are you going to reach them. And that's the next question. We create a customer profile. We say, okay, well, how are we going to reach them? What kind of content? What platforms? How will we distribute the information? How will we get referrals? And that all comes off of the question above. See, these are all in sequence, and then this just continues into the more of the details. Your content. Well, what kinds of content do I need? A lot of that will come off of the questions above of who you're trying to reach. You know, Maybe it would be a web page dedicated to healthcare or medical industry. Maybe a flyer that's made specifically for the medical industry. A lot of videos on YouTube, all related. So that's why we want to build our content and keep it all in a theme, a consistent theme that people are seeing over and over and over again as they interact with your business. Tactics and platforms. What platforms will I use? The phone, your website, uh, AdWords. It can be LinkedIn, Facebook. These are like the main platforms that you're going to use, and this will come off some of the answers above of who you're trying to reach. uh, distrib- just distribution within the platform. So let's say, for argument's sake, well, I want to use Google. Well, Google has a lot of different products. So are you out of Google? Are you going to focus on SEO, AdWords, the newer Google local service? I mean, they have a whole host of different products. And when you say print, well, print has a lot of different things you can do also. You can use flyers, sales letters, postcards. So that's why we want to line this all up and ask these questions ahead of time instead of just throwing it out there here and there. We want a cohesive program that we can just keep following. Commercial, this can change a lot from residential. A lot of commercial operators are secretive about their client base, and they don't want a lot of reviews online because their competitors will start calling on them. So that's why a lot of commercial operators don't do online reviews, but that's up to you. Some people do. It depends on the service you're providing. Another option would be testimonials that you share individually. Like when you're given a bid, you would include your testimonials, or or maybe when you email somebody, you would include a testimonial. So there's different ways to do this depending on what your goal is. The buyer journey. The buyer journey is, somebody clicks on your Google ad, and then what happens? What's the step-by-step process? What are the options? So let's just use Google for an example, but this can apply to anything. Somebody clicks on your ad, you're gonna land on your website. Okay, and then what? How do they contact you? Are you going to use a chat button, phone, email? Um, are you giving directions to your office? This is all going to depend. This is all up to you. Some people don't like chat. I personally don't like chat and don't use it, but that's my personal choice. So everybody's going to have to decide that for themselves on which one. The point is more of, well, let's think ahead on this before I run my Google ad. What's this? What's the process? What are the steps that a client would take to become from a prospect down to a client? Staying in touch long term. How will we stay in front of people after they become a client, after we give them a proposal? Are we going to do it through email, text, mail, phone? Are we going to stop by a couple times a year and just list all the different tactics of how you're going to stay in touch with people so then we can just follow that? the service experience. What are some of the tools to use during a service? For instance, it could be wet floor signs, your van, uniforms, what kind of uniforms. Uh, are you going to give your text a script to use? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a word by word script, but maybe like a cheat sheet of how they should interact with a client. Are you going to use ID badges? These are some of the questions we would want to ask ahead of time of how we want a service to go, because that's kind of like a long-term brand question. And finally, step 13 is analytics and tracking. Okay, we're doing all this stuff. How are we going to track for success? Are we going to use a CRM, Google Analytics? Are we going to use spreadsheets? Are we going to use QuickBooks? You know, how are we going to keep track of all of this information? And which ones? I would say at least all four of these, because you can't answer all questions with just one of these. We really want to use them all. And Excel spreadsheets, this is going to be a company by company question. Some companies are very sophisticated and they have a dozen of them. You might only need like one or two, just because there's some statistic that you want to know about that maybe most other people don't think about, because QuickBooks and CRMs, they don't answer every question. So that's why Excel is just easier to manipulate, and I can do more videos on that in the future to show you what I mean about that. But you can just answer almost any question with Excel. And last but not least, if you want to download this worksheet, you would go to our website. I'm going to provide the link in the description of this video. You're going to go to the marketing plan, and here I talk about all of this in more detail. And at the bottom of the page is get the marketing plan worksheet, and we immediately email it to you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and that you go and you download our marketing plan worksheet for cleaning services, and I hope you use it.